Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the units that have just been announced for the Golden Week celebration and all of their details, and give a bit of an idea of how good we think they're going to be. So let's take a look at Goku first. We'll start with the festival units, then look at the banner units, then look at the animations. So in terms of lead, we have Majin Buu Saga, Otherworld Warriors, Accelerate Battle. I think it's pretty good coverage. 30% for time limit or Kamehameha is decent. Majin Buu Saga plus Kamehameha, time limit, solid. Otherworld Warriors, solid. Accelerate Battle, solid. So we have a decent coverage there. I think that's more than fine. Accelerated Battle needed a new lead, and probably Otherworld Warriors, so I think I'm quite fine with that. Kind of a normal link set for a Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Golden Warriors, Super Saiyan, Saiyan Lineage, Over the Flash, Limit Breaking Form, Kamehameha, Fierce Battle. He's going to link great with Super Saiyan units generally, but also will link great with Super Saiyan 3 units, of course. Next we have his passive, Buying Time at All Costs. Activates the entrance animation once only, chance of performing a critical hit plus 50% for 5 turns from the character's entry. And reduces damage received by 90% upon the character's entry, and with each turn passed, damage reduction of minus 15%, no more than 90% when there's another Majin Buu Saga category ally on the team. So before we talk about the rest of the passive, let's just talk about that. So if this functions anything like Frieza's damage reduction, which I believe it will, this means Goku's damage reduction will run out roughly from the 6th turn onwards. If it does not function like Frieza's, then okay, fantastic. Pretty good stuff. 50% crit chance, damage reduction, pretty good. Obviously gives him a strong opening, and let's hope that he builds up into something really good. So he's got key +2, attack and defense of plus 150%, and additional 150% when performing a super attack. Reduces damage received by 5% with each super attack performed up to 30%, and gives a medium chance of performing a critical hit. So there we go. Obviously damage reduction kind of replacing some of the damage reduction lost, which is pretty solid. Medium chance of performing a critical hit. Launches a additional attack that has a great chance of coming a super attack. When there's another Majin Buu Saga category ally attacking the same turn, gets an additional defense of 100%, and guards all attacks as the first attacker. An additional attack of 100%, and launches an additional super attack as the second or third attacker in the turn, and has a high chance of nullifying key blast based super attacks directed at the character and countering with tremendous power. So starts with 90% damage reduction, gains additional damage reduction with each super attack, has 50% base crit, well, has 30% base crit, gets 50% for the first 5 turns. So he's got a guaranteed crit and pretty much immune to damage for roughly the first 2 or 3 turns that he appears, which is really, really good. If you've got a Majin Buu Saga category ally in the turn, you can even make him even tankier by giving him guard in the first slot, which is really, really nice. That additional super attack with a great chance of coming super attack being built in, and the additional attack damage being the second or third slot's nice, because later on, once you've got a tank kind of built up, Goku can move to that second, third slot and really kind of showcase his abilities. He does have an active skill, okay, which can be activated when there's a Majin Buu Saga category ally attacking the same turn, starting from the 4th turn. He will massively raise his attack temporarily, cause ultimate damage to the enemy, and within the same turn, all attacks become critical hits. More than fine, kind of a nice standard active skill. Pity there's no interrupt or something, but you know, it's more than fine. He's a Majin Buu Saga, Otherworld Warriors, Accelerate Battle, Kamehameha, Time Limit, Res Warriors, SS3, Pure Saiyans, Goku's Family, etc. Pretty solid categories. Super attack effects, that's where things are going to be interesting. He greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, causes immense damage and a high chance of stunning. So, decent stuff. Honestly, obviously good. I don't think it's rocket science to say that he's a good unit. I think his kit clearly looks excellent. He's really, really fun. Really looks like he starts off really strong, and should still be decently powerful throughout the rest of the battle. 30% damage reduction is not crazy, but the way he greatly raises, the way he gains attack and defense on super is pretty good. His early strong start kind of pushes him through a lot of the AoE phases. We'll have to see how he does in things like Omega Shenron, where AoE comes a bit later. But for now, really, really good. Next we look at Majin Buu Good. even though it says good, he's extreme int. Because this is obviously before his psychological reformation. So let's take a look at him. Majin Buu Saga, great. Sworn enemies or storied figures. Okay, so we needed a new storied figures lead. New sworn enemies leads also more than fine. 30% for worldwide chaos and Res Warriors is also not too bad. On the Majin Buu Saga, that kind of covers pretty much everyone that you would need for an extreme team. On the sworn enemy side, that includes units like Cell, for example, which is great. And Res Warriors covers quite a few freezes and things like that as well. Storied figures, this also gives you, I believe, another, and I stand to be corrected, but I do believe that INT Tapion, not INT Tapion, INT Rudigon can fit on this category. I do think so. So I think INT Rudigon can fit underneath here at a 200% as well. I'm not saying that's crucial for all extreme units, but that is. So he is on storied figures, yes, and he is on Res Warriors. Okay, perfect. So he is indeed there. Majin, Innocence, Kamehameha, Infinite Regen, Revival, Wall Standing Tall, Fierce Battle. He doesn't have big bad bosses, so units like Super Buu mixed with Gohan, not going to mix too well with him, but the rest is all kind of fine. Any Majin Buu unit, you'll be getting Majin, Infinite Regen. Wall Standing Tall is fairly common as well, Fierce Battle, so you should be more than fine link-wise. Let's look at his entrance animation. Activates entrance animation once only, recovers 10% HP at the start of a character's attacking turn. For the rest of battle, it recovers an additional 10% HP for 5 turns on the character's entry turn. When there's another Majin Buu Saga category ally on the team upon the character's entry. Okay, so he will recover if you activate entrance. He'll get 10% HP for the rest of battle at the start of turn. He will, for the first 5 turns, so get an additional 10% HP, so that will be 20% in total, which is good. He then has Ki +2, attack and defense of 150%, an additional 150% when performing super attack, so very much like Goku. He launches an attack with a great chance of becoming a super attack, so again, like Goku. And this is where things get different though. Guards all attacks when HP is 50% or more at the start of turn. Okay, so if his HP is below the 50% bracket, he's not going to guard. So that's kind of like an inverse mechanic of like Golden Frieza, very similar kind of way that it'll function. So you have to be at the threshold before the turn starts, basically. Recovers 10% HP at the end of turn, and if HP is 30% or less at the end of turn, recovers an additional 10% HP. So that gives him 30% HP recovery, 40% within the first 5 turns. Revives with the HP fully recovered when the character is KO'd once only. Survives KO attacks up to once within a turn. So no condition here. Seems really, really good. Plus an additional attack and defense of 100% and guards all attacks and launches an additional super attack starting from a turn in which the character or an ally's revive skill is activated. Recovers HP with sweet treats. So very interesting. Basically, he has guard above 50% health. If he's below 50% health, obviously gonna get absolutely shredded, but that's okay because his revive has absolutely no restriction. So essentially, he is planned to kind of die. Once he dies, he gets a huge attack and defense boost, guards all attacks, and he launches an additional super attack starting from the turn. There's not a lot of revives on extreme teams, so this is a very good kind of push for those teams. It's a good revive skill, and also it means you're not competing with a lot. It also means you can run 2 of them because of course they can both revive. On the surface level, honestly for me, I feel like Buu's better. It's going to be one of those things where Goku's going to start off really, really strong. The crits are going to be awesome, but Goku's going to get to this awkward kind of mid-game in certain fights, and he will take damage, whereas Buu, once you die with him, will just be someone that basically can't die and revives for you all the time. Well, heals you all the time. So yeah, it's interesting. I think Buu's better, but we'll have to see on paper. Active skill obviously can be activated after the character's revive skill is activated or starting from the 7th turn. A massive raise to attack, ultimate damage to the enemy, delays their attack for 1 turn. There we go, that's something I like. Changes all key spheres to cookies, and for 1 turn gets Ki +12. So we saw there, recovers health with sweet treats. It's basically giving you another form of healing, and it delays their attack and also causes them to have a massive attack raise. Feels very good. Obviously no crit baked in, something important, so you are going to have to consider giving him crit. But yeah, honestly looks really good. Permanently raises defense and raises attack for 1 turn. Buu to me is looking like a monster. Buu is looking really crazy. He's feeling good. He feels like a really good foil, like a really good unit for the extreme teams. It's someone they need. Healing, defense, revive. It's all stuff that's missing from a lot of good extreme teams. Majin Buu Saga, Sworn Enemies, Storied Figures, Worldwide Chaos, Res Warriors, lots of categories, really nice. And yeah, pretty good. So for me, Buu looks better than Goku. Goku's way better offensively, Buu is better defensively. It kind of makes sense. Goku, it's going to depend on if his defense before he finds a super attack is enough to handle certain events like Omega Shenron. I can see that being an issue where he could take chip damage from AoEs. Beginning of fights, he's more than fine, so things like Zamasu is quite easy, whereas Buu's kind of the inverse. You might just end up wasting the revive early on instead of giving him time to kind of do a little bit of work before reviving. However, after revive, he definitely feels better. Then we have Gotenks, Super Physical Gotenks, Hybrid Saiyan category lead, 130%, attack and defense of 177%, great chance of 7 key, an additional 77% attack and defense when performing super. Launches an additional attack, there's a great chance of coming super, great chance of evading the enemy super attack for 7 turns from their entry turn, high chance of evading from the 8th turn onwards. An additional attack and defense is 77% of the 2nd or 3rd attacker in the turn. An additional attack and defense of 20% up to 77% with each attack evaded. And chance of performing a crit plus 20% with each super attack performed. So built-in crit, built-in additional, built-in evasion, really good stuff. Basically an all-in-one kind of unit. Gonna need dupes. Raw stats should be pretty good. I think overall he will look really solid. Not too much to say here, just a very nice unit. We've got a ton of great Gotenks. I think realistically this guy's just going to fall into that pack. Really nice units to link up with him. Lots of great linking partners for him. I think he's going to shine as a general banner unit. Long term, don't know. We'll have to see. He's got massively raising attack and defense, so he looks like a great floater, great second slot unit. I really like him. He looks good. He doesn't look like anything special, but he definitely feels really good. You know, like how World Tour and Krillin was kind of like the surprise package of last battle, and Tien or Golden Week, and Tien was kind of like he's pretty decent. This guy feels like a good halfway point between them. Feels like he's going to be pretty decent, but also could be a very nice surprise considering how many good Gotenks units we have right now. Then we have Majin Buu, Pure Evil. We definitely been needing a new version of Skinny Buu, Skinny Evil Buu. This guy just looks cool to me. I don't know, I kind of dig the design. I've always been a fan. Majin, Brutal Beatdown, Kamehameha, Infinite Regen, Nightmare, Wall Standing Tall, Fierce Battle. So obviously he links amazingly with the new DFE, which is what you want, especially on the extreme side of things. Keep this one, attack and defense of 40%, and chance of performing a critical hit and evading, plus 10% per Majin Power category ally on the team. Okay, and if all allies are in the Majin Buu Power category, launches an additional super attack and all attacks become critical hits. Okay, so definitely geared towards Majin Power. I think that's very evident. So not really like a Majin Buu Saga unit, more like just a straight Majin Power unit, but that's good. Guaranteed crits, you know. Yeah, so guaranteed crits, really solid. Look, I think that's good stuff. Okay. Then he gets an additional attack and defense of 60% when performing a super, plus an additional attack of 60% of HP is 60% or more when attacking. Recovers 5% HP at the start of turn, recovers an additional 5% when HP is 80% or less, and recovers an additional 10% when HP is 40% or less. Survives KO attacks up to once within a turn when HP is 40% or more, and also has a high chance of nullifying Ki Blast supers directed at the character encountering with tremendous power. Recovers HP with sweet treats. So again, kind of a really good foundation. Healing, nice, meshing unit for the new DFE. I'm not going to sit here and say this guy is going to be super useful across tons of teams. He's going to be great on a Majin Power team. If you pick him up, you pick up the new DFE, and you want to run Majin Power, these two are going to be insane together. In terms of abilities, massively raises attack for 4 turns. Obviously very restricted in terms of categories and causes supreme damage, which is nice. So let's take a look at his animations, let's take a look at everyone's animations and get a good feel for all of it all together. So yeah, I think for me personally, animation's pretty good. For the banner units, Gotenks and Evil Boo, I think ultimately they come out nice. I think, overall, very, very, very solid, just in terms of general, like animation smoothness and everything. For me, I think Evil Boo, I'm quite impressed with. Obviously, they're using a lot of the animations kind of direct from the show, but he did have a lot of cool scenes, and it could have been very easy to kind of portray them very limited, but I think they get them just right, where, I think they kind of capture the moments quite nicely. On the on the Boo, Fat Boo, Good Boo, I guess we use good, I don't know. I don't know what to say or what's correct, but I think really well done. All the animations are obviously from that time where he is, before meeting Hercule, and I think it's all done really well. The voice lines are done really well. They do a really good job with the animations, considering that they have to interact with a lot of the avatars, which are always kind of the idle sprites, which are always kind of the letdown. I think in terms of the revive animations, a very cool scene as well. All the little Boos kind of coming together is a very, very cool scene from the history of Dragon Ball Z, and I think it looks really, really nice for me personally. Aside from that, really good moments up until the Super Saiyan 3 fight, and I think they do pretty well to kind of challenge, like this, well, not challenge, kind of channel this menace that Boo had, even though he was obviously quite a quirky, zany figure. So they pick some good scenes, and I think they do it quite well. Overall, really good looking. The pink Kamehameha looks great, and I think Boo has some lovely animations. I think they did a really good job. I think the big one is this one, the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. This transformation is always kind of a highlight for everyone. Everyone loves the 5-hour screaming montages of Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I think they do well with what they could do. It's difficult to translate a scene that carries a lot of its momentum from being a super long scene in the anime and manga to being like an entrance animation. But I think they do well. I think Goku's animations look good. I think they look crisp. I do wish the Super Saiyan 3 animation had just maybe a little bit more of a scream to it, more of a reference to the anime than to the manga, because it is a really, really awesome moment. But with that being said, I do think they do great, and I think overall they look pretty solid. The Kamehameha looks good as well, to be entirely honest with you, it looks good, and yeah, everything pretty cool.